paid advertising doesn't fix your business, it exposes your business. Yikes. So knowing that, why on earth would you just completely delegate all of that entire department to someone else? Someone who doesn't really know you, someone who has a lot of things to focus on and a lot of things to think about and are really just trying to sometimes make themselves look good versus actually driving the things that you want to drive in your business. Well, today I have an amazing friend, client, colleague, and superstar who is here to talk about and hopefully empower you and encourage you about paid advertising and how it is totally possible for you to bring it back into control, bring it back into your hands so that you can make sure that your business is being exposed in the way that you want it to be exposed. So I have here Miss Ashley Brock, the Queen Rainmaker, who rains down money, encouragement, fun, and love on all of her people. Welcome.
Thank you. You mean you did teach me how to sell, so that was helpful.
I did teach you how to sell. And it is like, there's nothing better than watching your students and your clients kill it.
Yeah.
Like there's sales high where you make a lot of sales and you feel so good about yourself.
Yes.
But then there's another high when your people start winning.
Yeah, it's like when you teach your kids how to do something and they do it.
Oh, yeah.
You teach a friend how to do it, they do it. You teach a client. It's like they actually just did the thing that you knew that they could do.
100%.
Feels so good.
And it's like, when you're selling to someone, you wish you could just shake them and be like, don't you see what I see? But then when you get it, you're like, don't you see? And then you can bond and hug and love each other on a totally different level.
It's so cool.
Because it's like, I see you.
I know.
Finally.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk about paid advertising.
Let's do it.
And I want to talk about sales.
Yeah, we should.
And just fun things. Also, we're going to Costa Rica.
In like
2 days.
2 days, yeah.
So we have so much to talk. We're already like, how are we going to get it all in Costa Rica? We only have 3 days. We could be together for a month, but.
Yeah, we have like a million questions for each other.
Yeah.
But.
And we're going to go ice skating after this. So
yeah,
fun.
She was like, hey, let's do a podcast. Would you like to go ice skating after? And I was like, honestly, yeah, sure.
It's so fun. Okay.
Let's do it.
So, Ashley, when I started my business personally, the culture of online business was instant outsource your ads.
Totally.
There was never a hint of a flavor of a tone of, hey, there's a way you could do this for yourself. It was like, who do you hire? Who is the expert that you hired to do this? Why in the world is that?
Yeah. It's an interesting question. I feel like that's just people's default because they're doing what they've heard.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, there's like a higher volume of people that can, you outsource and do the thing. There wasn't, in my opinion, as much like prominence of like, oh, like you could do this. I think people think that because it's such a specialized skill.
Specialized.
That you're like, oh, well, that's something you would outsource.
Yeah.
Like, can you really, I think a lot of people that I've talked to, they just didn't know that they could even afford to have that because it seems like such an elite skill that they're like, oh, that would cost 6 figures, to have the right person do it. So they just by default say, there's no way I could afford that at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels like when I first started learning, and I still have so much to learn, but it feels like code to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sales felt like code to me at the beginning. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's like, it just feels overwhelming because it's not your like thing.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So true. Okay. Why on earth do you know so much about paid advertising? Because, when you look at you, you're like, you're so young and you're so like a mom and like, how do you know? But you have such an insane history of running ads.
Yeah. I think I have 2 things. I have depth and then I have breadth. So I worked at 4 ad agencies for about 10 years, 4 different ones. And it started with little small businesses to mid-size to Fortune 500, like actually being on the phone with the CMO of $1 billion Fortune 500 companies. And so I did that for 10 years, worked with nearly every type of business. And I got to kind of be like the liaison. Like I got to be the middleman because I had all these clients over here in the CMO. I was in the middle. And then I had Facebook and Instagram and Google and Pinterest and all these people. And they knew that if they can get the person who's responsible for leading the strategy with the CMO to be like, oh, you should spend more on Google. And here's why. Here's the tests we're running. That if they can be in like good standing with me, I'm the one advocating on how should Dollar Tree spend their budget across shopping ads or social ads or Google ads or these other type of ads. And so I don't know if I ever told you this, but at the ad agency, I was paid, like my compensation was paid based on my clients spending more money.
Wow.
So how will my clients spend more money? Well, they would only spend more money if they're performing really well. So people say, digital marketing. I'm like, it was performance advertising.
Wow.
Because when they performed, like if you turn $1 into $5, why would you limit your budget? So I got to grow and grow and grow till I was on these bigger accounts because I was able to take their performance from where it was to where like I knew it could be, and they were happy to spend more. And the CMOs were like, the budget does not exist if it's performing. And so that's what made me money.
My money does not exist then.
Yeah, exactly.
The limit doesn't, yeah.
And that's why, like I'll never forget, I was on a Dollar Tree because that was one of my biggest clients in California Closets. Thumbtack is a big home service provider that spent 6 figures a day on ads. And I was like, hey, so it says we're limited by budget on these campaigns. And they were like, we don't care about the budget. And I couldn't understand that.
Wow.
But now I'm a business owner. And it's like, yeah, if it's profiting, why would you stop?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Isn't that funny?
I had that time. But I think the unique piece about why I have the unique angle is most people are specialists in one area. So in most advertising agencies, the departments are the type of ads. So you have the shopping department.
Oh, wow.
You have the search department. You have the social department. You have the email department. You have the analytics department. You have all these different pieces that ultimately all are the ads.
Yeah.
And I was just so curious. So I would want to be a part of all of it. And over time, what that meant is I was not only the person telling these companies where they should spend on YouTube versus LinkedIn or Google, I was also the one setting it up.
Wow.
So that was like the unique angle.
And how long? You did that a long time.
10 years.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, it was cool. It was so fun.
So usually when you're in the thick of a job like that, you don't even realize that there's an online world that we live in.
I did not.
Yeah.
I absolutely did not.
So how did you get to that point?
So I was...
I don't think I know this.
Yeah. So I was just listening to an audio book one day, which was like also new to me.
Yeah.
Like I still had like the stringy headphones,
yeah.
like the string dangles. I feel like that's
they
so...
probably weren't even Apple ones, were they? They were Amazon ones.
Yeah. They were as cheap as they could be. I'd lost them real ones. I was like, I can't buy another pair. So I'm listening to this book, and it was just, she owned a business. And I didn't know any person that owned a business, let alone a woman that owned a business.
Wow.
I just hadn't. So I'm listening to this book, and she was talking about how she went from working at a job to owning her own business. And that kind of prompted something in me. Next thing,
just a little seed.
Just a little planted seed. And then it felt like in the next week or two, as I started following her, other accounts were getting suggested to me. And there were people that owned an online business.
Do you remember who the author was?
Yeah, it was Rachel Hollis.
Oh my gosh.
It was the
Girl Wash Your Face.
It was actually Girl Stop Apologizing.
Okay.
And she said two things that stood out to me. One was, she said, you can want more for yourself for no other reason than it makes your heart happy.
Yeah.
I was like, I can want more than what I have?
Wow.
I was like, shouldn't I just be thankful for what I have, not want more? I couldn't believe, that just kind of opened my brain. And then I got some ads for some people on social media that had an online course. And I was like, I wonder if I could teach something.
Wait, did you get our ad?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, the first one was, it was honestly Amy Porterfield.
Yeah.
And it was online courses.
So good.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
There's an online course?
There's an online course?
Yeah.
Someone said something on one of the ads. It was like, if you repeat it, record it. And I was like, I repeat things every day in my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you find sales girls from an ad though, or no?
No, but the ad influenced my decision.
Okay. Tell me about that.
So my now, head of the creative of our company, she was my friend. We were in a small group together. And I had just started my
who?
Meredith.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
that's right.
Yes, yep. So basically I had just started my business. I just left the ad agency. I was pregnant. I left my fully paid maternity leave. I left my 6-figure salary, and I was like, we're just gonna start. I'm just gonna wing this thing. And so when I started, I told Meredith about it, and she was like, I think you'll like this account.
Wow.
And forwarded it to me, and she's like, and they're here near Atlanta. And I was like, oh my God. And then that's when I saw the Sales Girls, and you had ran an ad, and the ad was the way that I found the original program.
Yeah. Do you remember what the ad was?
Yeah, it was. So I was in 30A. I was 8 months pregnant.
Wow.
I'm laying there at night. Kyle's upstairs, and it was this ad, and it's like, we start tomorrow. It's the last chance. And it was like 11:57, and I was like, I've been seeing the retargeting ads for a while.
Yeah.
And it was like, just because you're selling doesn't mean you can sell, or something like that. And I was like,
because you were making money.
I made my first year in business, I had made like 200 or 250. Like I had gotten
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. But that's what I thought. I was like, I've sold. I was like, but I feel like they are selling better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had this a little bit of like ignorance of like, but really? Like, can't I just figure it out? Like I had this thought in my brain. I was like, I can just watch her stuff and figure out what she's doing for free. That was my mentality then. You know, I was like, do I really need to spend this money? But I just pulled the trigger at $11.59 and I was like, YOLO, here we go. And I lied to Kyle. I told you I lied to Kyle the next morning.
I don't know if I know this.
So the price,
it was $4,000 at the time.
Yeah, but it was $39.90 something.
Right.
So I told Kyle because I had a 3. I was like, hey, it was $3,000 last night.
Yeah.
I was like, I just did something, and I thought he was gonna like blow up because I was like $3,000.
Yeah.
And he was like, whew. He was like, you'll be fine. Yeah. And that's how how everything started.
You don't even realize that was a seed of belief too.
What do you mean?
Him saying you'll be fine.
Totally.
Like
That's so true.
It really is. It really is. Like I have so many memories like that too of telling Austin something and being surprised by his response.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he believes in me.
So true.
And sometimes you believe someone else believing in you more than you believe in you.
Yeah.
So you should tell him that was a big deal, that his response.
I should.
mattered.
And the reason that everything, like our story progressed was because of the belief on that challenge call too. It was poured into me. Yeah. It was like these little people believing in me that I didn't realize.
Yeah. So now you are the opposite of I'll learn it for free. You're like, please let me pay, and please let me pay the highest I possibly can.
On everything.
Yeah. Tell me about that journey in your life, because I might have helped you a little bit in that.
I think should we talk about the progression?
Let's talk about it. We'll get into ads, I promise.
Yeah, but let's talk about this. Okay, so basically I did that program, and then I had like one of my best launches at the beginning.
So what did you learn though? Because you were like, I thought I could sell. And then through the program, you realized, wow, I could not sell.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So I thought I could sell. I get into the program, and I didn't get to do my full 8 weeks because I had my baby.
Oh, wow.
But I was like 6 weeks out of the 8. I showed up every day, and I did it.
Wow.
And after just like 6 weeks of, I had never since college watched something and implemented. Wow. Watch something and implemented. And every week it challenged you to watch it and do it. I'd never done that.
Wow.
And so because I was forced to do it and practice it in front of people and get embarrassed, like I didn't even realize it then, but even just publicly practicing something that you were bad at was such like an important piece of this whole story.
Yeah.
So I did it, had my baby. And I remember in the sales conversation, Kat told me, she said the very reason you need to do this is because you're about to have the baby. Because having a baby is a perfect reason to be like, I shouldn't do this.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, what if that was the very reason so that you can have momentum when you begin? And I did. And I had my best launch ever after like learning the program.
Yep.
So I did that.
Which I just need to pause for a second. So people think things like having a baby, or I've invested something else somewhere else, or like whatever those are, they're just circumstances.
Correct.
They're objections.
Yes.
They're objections, and they're thoughts that they are having that can be reframed in a way to use as leverage instead of used against you.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Well, my belief went from I'm having a baby, I can't do this, to I'm having a baby, so I have to have momentum.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, that's true. And so I did the program, got great results. And because of that, I was like, oh my gosh, there's something to this. So when you kind of pivoted and you did your first challenge, I got on one of the first challenges, I got on the challenge. And I remember crying on Zoom because my pricing was like $9.97 or $14.97. And some belief was poured into me. It was very needed.
Yeah.
And the question was like, do you see the value in what you're doing?
Yeah.
And I was like, I do. Do you? I was like, someone else does?
Yeah.
It was like so far ahead. And so long story short, I invested a very big amount. $50,000.
Really quick, the price was $25,000
a week, 4 days before.
Oh, it was 4 days. Okay, 4 days before, and you, I guess, had decided you didn't want to do it, and then 4 days after, you're like, oh, I've changed my mind.
Yeah, because it was right before the challenge when you're like, hey, everybody, if you do it here, you'll get this.
Right.
And I was like, no.
Yep.
Because I went down to Kyle and told him about it, and he was like, what?
Yeah.
He was like, it went to what? He was like, no.
Yeah.
Like he was like nodding, and so that was my moment. I was like, oh crap.
Yeah. And so then you said, no, actually I do want to do it, but the price had gone up to 50. And I think you had asked, hey, can I get the 25?
Yeah.
And the answer was no.
And the answer was no.
But now, like, aren't you so thankful?
I am. It's crazy.
Because you went to the bank.
Yeah, well, I called the Chase lady because I didn't have $50,000 in my like business account because I was spending a lot of it on ads and these other things. And anyway, I didn't have $50,000. So I went to my husband and was like, hey, I think I should do this. He was like, well, there's a whole story, but the summarized version was God had told me, like, I have this all planned out for you. Like, I have it figured out. You just need to trust and have faith with your money, not just your words. I went to Kyle and was like, I really feel like I'm supposed to do this. Like, I feel like this is like the domino. And Kyle freaked out for just a second, but then he calmed down. He was like, you really feel like you really feel like you should do this? And I was like, I do. Like, I like transferred the certainty. And then I went to my mom. I was like, Mom, here's the scenario. And when my mom, who was like taught me to save money my whole life, was like, I have a good feeling. I think you should do it.
Wow.
And she like grabbed my hand. I was like, oh God. I was like, my mom says that? And Kyle was like, we're in. And I just, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yep. So did that. And you know, I did it because I had my event. It was 45 days later. Yeah. And so I did it, had the event, had my first 6-figure day. Macy was up on this stage, y'all. Macy was up on this stage, and I would shake. I was so scared to present like my offer. And so I sit side stage, and Macy's up on the stage. And
I did a repitch.
She's a repitch. Yeah. Yep. So she's like kind of reselling them on the value of, you know, wanting to do this, changing, you know, beliefs, right? Reframing. And I'm sitting there on the side stage, moment for the rest of my life. I'm sitting there on my phone. And all I'm seeing is Kajabi alerting me every 3 seconds. And it was like $5,000 sale. And so I'm sitting there while she's talking and she has no idea. And I'm just like, I'm like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And by the time she gets off stage, it had been $80,000 later. And I was in the bathroom with my mom and I'm pumping. And I'm in there and I've got my phone and I'm shivering. And Mom's like, are you okay? I was like, Mom, I think we just made $80,000. And she's like, no way. She's like, no. Like, she lost it. And I'm like trying to like not spill milk everywhere, but I'm like, look at it. And it was just like, it was insanity. And then
now you can do that in your sleep.
And now I can do it. And I'm like, 80,000, like we do that.
Yep. And you do it on stage. Not
I
me.
do it now.
And you don't need nobody.
I don't. You have transferred that skill. And so fast forward, I invested $125,000. And that time I called Kyle and was like, hey, and he was like,
do it.
He was like, no, I was like, hey baby, how you doing? He's like, you're at the Sales Girls, aren't you? I said, yeah. He said, well, what did they sell you today? And I said, another, but it's like really good. Like I'm going to be in voice memo. It's going to be great. And he was like, how much is it? And I was like, it's 125. He's like, you did great the first time. I trust you. It'll be great. So and I was like, that was easy. Came back. I was like, Laura Beth, do you agree? She's like, yeah, you should do it. I was like, all right. I was 6 months into paying 50.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I still had a whole nother whatever.
Yeah.
But I did it and then ultimately ended up having a $1.4 million day 6 months later. So it's been a
casual
sale, just casual.
And now you just rip $1 million challenges.
We are at, I think 4 or 5 in a row of 7 figures launches.
Insane.
Yeah.
But it's not insane, you know?
But it like feels like, I'm not kidding you, the transformation is it went from feeling I can't believe I'm shaking to like, of course we did 7 figures last week, which we did.
Yeah, it's who you are now.
Yeah, it's an identity thing.
And you know, that growth is remarkable, and like there's growing pains for sure.
Oh my God.
Up in that journey.
So much.
And even just learning the skill, there's probably so many growing, like one thing about you, Ashley, is you are, I don't know if you've always been like this, but you do things without thinking in the highest complimentary way. You're like, an event, doing it. I'm told to say this, do it. You told me to do a challenge, do it. Like, you do not think it all the way through, and then you do it, and then you back up, and then you think it all the way through.
That's exactly right.
And that's why you win at life.
Yeah. I just don't question direction.
So good.
Yeah. I'm like, this is where I've been directed. This is what I'm going to do. And I just now in the past, I would say 3 or 4 challenges, I feel like I've really made it my own. Like I'm like nobody else was doing some of the things that I do.
So good.
I'm just like, how can we refine every time?
Yeah, same. That's so good.
Yeah.
That refinement mentality.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you would say to someone who actually two. Number one, who is like, hey, I'm already making money. So obviously that sales is not the problem if I'm making money. There must be another problem. I must need an AI bot. I must need, X more team members. I must need another social platform. Number one.
Yep.
And actually answer that, and then I'll ask you the second one.
It's easy. Just because you told me this, and I'll explain, but just because you can sell doesn't mean you can sell well.
Yeah.
Or what it's like, just because you've sold doesn't mean you can sell.
Yeah.
And so what I've learned is that there is a gift that only time can give you. You have simply spent more time selling than everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so because of that, you've developed a unique level of expertise that no one else can.
Wow.
People do the same thing with ads. Like, no, I know ads. I'm like, I can guarantee that you do not know ads at the same capacity as someone who's done it all day, every day for over a decade.
Yeah.
So because you have more experience in the thing, that is how mastery is created. So someone can sell but not have mastered it.
Yeah.
And there's always, like, my mentality is there is always someone who knows, even if it's just one thing that someone who's selling well learns that you do that they've never done, they're missing out on that opportunity by not getting close to it. And I think it's just like, you have to just have a certain level of humility that says, I'm good, but someone's better. And I just, that is my default when someone has more time than I do.
Yeah. And I think those people might be looking for like a silver bullet versus the tiny golden BBs. I think you look for the golden BBs.
Oh, yeah.
And you know how powerful those BBs are.
Ooh, that's such a good example.
You know, when people are there, I don't know, I've made money, I don't need to know how to sell. I need a different golden, silver bullet.
Yeah. What's the analogy? It's like take the meat, leave the bones.
That's how I live.
Yeah. So one of my clients in the top tier, Brett, actually, in the VIP day, he was like, you know, I said, what has been the most valuable thing? He was like, honestly, like even one conversation I had at the last event was worth the whole thing for me.
Totally.
Because he changed his business from being a marriage therapist or marriage coach to being a marriage coach for entrepreneurs. Someone messaged him yesterday, was like, you just work with entrepreneurs?
That actually is fire.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was one conversation at one event that changed his direction. Your, my like 125, if I could put like one thing up, which was a BB at the time, but I didn't realize it was a golden bullet, was like the paid advertising thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like marketing being an overstatement.
Yeah.
That one thought.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy that I forgot that happened. Yeah. I mean,
that
I didn't forget. But she used to be, it was Marketing Matters.
Marketing Matters.
But every time you opened your mouth, you were clearly passionate about paid advertising. And I'm like, why are you saying marketing?
And it was the thing I was the best at.
Yeah. And you fought me on that for a while.
Yeah.
And then you changed your Instagram to Ads with Ashley.
Yeah, because you told me.
I know. And it's so much better.
It is. That
so
was a
better.
freaking clutch move.
Yeah.
And the because she's taught me to rhyme because your brain attaches to it. So my rhyme about the Marketing Matters versus whatever, and for anyone, like, this is the thing I want you to think about, is when you overstate, they hesitate.
Yep.
But when you understate, you can elevate yourself in their eyes because you're like, oh, it's only this. It's like, yeah, you could do a billboard on Times Square, but if you really want paid advertising on Google, like specifically, we're the best.
Yeah.
So I just think that alone was it. But yeah, I approach everything knowing we talked about this, like the common denominator is me.
That's right.
And if you have that mentality, you will win.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay,
so that was so good. Thank you, number one. The other question, I actually just audited a sales call. You know how I audit sales.
Love when you audit a sales call. Okay, what?
We were in the van watching your...
I was like, hey, I know we're on the way to the event, but could you watch this sales call? And she's like, sure. And everybody's talking. She's like putting on headphones and she's like sitting there. And it was just like...
So I love to audit a sales call because I can, help the salesperson. But what I love even more is hearing what the prospect says. Because every time someone says something, it is talk about a golden BB. It is a golden BB for content. So yesterday I just audited one. And the prospect said this one little sentence. She said, blah, 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 but I hate sales conversations. It was literally about a totally different offer. But she just mentioned that one sentence, and she's already making money. She's doing pretty well. And she made comments like, I'm burning through money, or I don't want to burn through money, and I hate sales conversations. And I just was like, oh my gosh. Okay. I literally don't know her from Adam, but if I could know her, I would have a talking with her about that. But I would love to know what you would say to her. Someone who's already winning and feels like there's a ceiling. And the thought running through her mind is, I hate sales conversations.
Okay, so are you asking me what I would say to the person that says I hate sales conversations?
Yeah. And what has sales conversations meant for you in your growth in business?
If they're saying they hate sales conversations, and they're I just want to make sure I understand, it's the person delivering the sales conversation?
No, it's the prospect.
It was the prospect.
It was the prospect.
what would I say to that person?
Yeah.
If they hate sales conversations, it's probably because they're not good at it.
Yeah.
Or they've never had a good, they're associating like bad experiences with it.
Yeah. So what is sales conversations? How has that helped you in your business specifically?
I look forward to them because I know that on the other side of like getting on the same team with them is everything that I have to offer that can change their life.
So good.
Yeah. I see it as the most exciting opportunity to like really figure out what's going on.
Do you find that your $1 million challenges that you rip casually, do you find that your sales conversations have fueled those challenges?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they think I'm a mind reader now because I have obsessed over their objections and proving to them with the method that like, that there's another world out there. I help them truly, like, because selling is like transforming their belief.
That's right.
Yeah. So like I have really gone from like, I know what they're believing that's holding them back. And so now I can proactively address it. And they're like people are coming to me. They're like, I thought this and now I think this.
How did you know?
Yeah.
And it's because you have one conversation, one person says one thing, and if one person is saying it, at
it's
least
data.
10 people are thinking it too. And they don't even know they're thinking it sometimes.
No.
So when you say it, it brings it to the surface and they're like, how did she know? And you're like, well, I just heard it in a DM.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the one-on-one stuff, like people were joking about this when I first started going. They're like, don't DM Ashley. Like
you will buy.
Because you will buy. And honestly, like I just brought this energy of like, I think it's like when you have the confidence, of course you can do it. I was like, I know I can do this.
So good.
Yeah.
Wow. You're such a superstar.
What a gift.
Yeah, what a gift. So now like before sales skills, you could fill a room. And you did pretty good.
Yeah.
Now you can fill a room and
transform the room.
And that's where everything really changed for you.
It is, yeah.
So let's talk about filling rooms.
Let's do it.
Shall we?
Oh, man.
Okay. So specifically, you help entrepreneurs understand ads.
Yes.
What changes for someone in their life when they actually understand it fully?
What happened yesterday with Brett?
Okay. Tell me.
So what happens is he had a $1.4 million business. And in less than a year from his Google ads, he has a $2.4 million business. He has 8 kids. The way that stress like is like off of his plate.
Yeah.
He's like, I am the most known in my area. I had 14 therapists. Now I have 30 with completely full plates.
Wow.
That's huge.
He gives them leads too?
All of his therapists, he fuels from his Google campaign.
Wow.
He paid $250 per lead. Now he pays about $35 per lead. That is absolutely life-changing because he had paid $6,000 a month to work with this person on Google ads and then substantially less than that and had different results. So the whole point is that it just frees up the ability for him to hire, for him to grow. And he used to be the therapist taking the sessions. Now he truly gets to be the leader.
Wow.
And he has 8 kids. So it's like he was trying not to cry yesterday. I'm like, that's what happens.
So sweet.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's just they don't realize how possible it is.
Yeah.
And it just makes everything else less stressful.
So good. Like going back to agencies and when I think about like what happens with an entrepreneur, what I found, and listen, I love people that help people in all the ways, 100%. What I found is that, and this is just human nature, we've probably used 4 or 5 agencies over our lifetime, and now we do it in-house. Their goal is to, not their goal, but they of course want to position themselves as they're winning for you.
Always.
And so it's like, okay, here's how low the cost per lead is. It's like, great. And what if I actually want a higher quality lead that requires more money, and I'm happy to spend more money, but they're like, oh, but look, you're saving all this. It's like, and it's like, it takes so much effort to get on the same page. And when you have 10 businesses who have 10 different goals and 10 different desires, one's driving to an opt-in, one's just trying to grow their email list, one's trying to fill a challenge with high quality people, like how can you know even what you're doing when you have so many different people? Yeah. Because what I've learned from learning from you is it's not really the ads that are like knowing how to do the ads. It's, hey, what is your school of thought of running ads? Yeah. Because my school of thought is very different than an ad agency, and the effort to get them on my page versus just knowing my page and executing it, it's like a culture thing, really.
Yeah, it's hard. I just feel like I give the example of like having a little cat or a dog or a human. It's like no one can care about that baby like you can. And so they're just juggling a lot. And it's not that they don't care. It's just there's truly going to be a lot on their plate, and they're never going to, I've never had this and I've worked at many.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going to be like, hey, we're so excited to have you on board. No, this account manager will be on 9 other accounts. We'll probably tell you that you're the priority and that they're on really only 4, but there are 9 accounts. And so it's like, they don't tell you everything that everybody else who's managing your accounts is doing.
Right.
Why would they do that?
Right.
And so it's like, it's just hard for you to be the priority. Even with my accounts, like I loved my ad agency. I had a great experience. I had great people. I learned so much. It's just true that you're juggling a lot.
Yeah.
So it's hard to, it's like the person owning it is like, I really want you to get this messaging right. And you're kind of like, I hear you, I've got it.
Yeah.
But like you can't even have the time to like obsess like you want, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like you can.
Yeah, man. And another thing I've learned from you is timing matters.
Oh yeah.
Timing of when to turn levers.
And when to adjust.
And that is, when it's not in your hands, it's just impossible.
Yeah.
To do things on time.
Yeah.
How does timing matter, by the way?
Yeah. So like for everybody listening that's running ads, there's like a few things. I want you to think about how if you were teaching a dog to sit, you'd give it a treat, right?
Yes.
So what does Meta and Facebook and Google and Pinterest, what do they want more than anything else?
They want you to keep spending money.
Yeah. Right? So Meta, as a company, 97% of their revenue comes from advertising.
Yeah.
So the number one thing.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, that actually makes sense, but it's a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah.
Like 97% is from the ads.
Wow.
And so all they want is your money. And so when an ad performs well, if you're not looking at it pretty darn frequently, and especially daily with the type of like businesses you and I do, you can't give the dog a treat. So when I see that on Sunday morning, one of my audiences is taking off and I've just had 5 challenge ticket sales and I've only spent $200, I'm like,
now
4x the budget.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good job, Meta, keep doing this today.
Yeah.
And that's how I get audiences specifically to take off on a day, is because I'm giving it the treat, saying more money equals more good. Like when the algorithm sees you're rewarding it, of course it's going to go after it. And so that's how we have these really strong days, because I'm allocating in real time what's working.
Yeah.
And ad agencies are not looking at it on the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. And if they are, they don't want to be. And no matter what, if you're doing something you don't want to do just because you have to do it, you're not going to do a good job.
That's right.
But as an entrepreneur, I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
And so having someone on my team who's incentivized for that success, they are obsessed. They want it to win as much as I do, if not more, because they're getting a bonus.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so good.
Yeah.
What would you tell someone who, like, let's say they have a concern and they're like, I feel like for sales skills, I believe that they are timeless. They don't change. You only get better. When I think about ads, I'm like, how will I ever keep up with all the changing systems and platforms and strategies? What if they have that resistance? What would you say to them?
I would say that's the very reason that we created our company, was so that you don't have to keep up with it. We have a rule in our company that within 30 days of a platform change, we'll update the video. So every year in my business, I have a new course every single year. Like we just re-recorded it. I'll get 35 hours of training, brand spanking new from start to finish, because the platform changes.
Yeah. And
so we updated throughout the year, but there were so many updates in the last year that I was like, we're going to start fresh on everything.
Wow.
So it's just having someone else keep up with it so you don't have to.
Wow. It's a lot of action.
Yeah. And think about it. Like I have my head paid ads coach, and one of her roles of like her KPIs is simply keeping up the changes. So when something changes or ChatGPT ads come out, or, you know, the Meta interface, she's going in there and re-recording it. She's like, hey, change. Here's what we're doing. Here's what I'm doing. I've got it. And I'm like, amazing.
That's awesome. Wow. So good. Okay. I want you to think about this like the highest level person just walked up in here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Alex Ramosi just walked in.
Alex Ramosi just walked in.
Or
I want you to give, because my people on YouTube, they are high level people. They don't need no elementary stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
So talk to them as if they have, 5 years experience with ads, a little bit on their own, a little bit with an agency. They know enough to be dangerous, but they could know a lot more.
Great.
Okay. What is the thing that most people misunderstand about paid advertising? Higher level person.
What do they misunderstand? I think they misunderstand a few things. I think they misunderstand how different ads that you run work together.
Okay.
I think they look at it in isolation versus I think they don't understand how big of a deal Google or LinkedIn or TikTok or some of these other platforms can work together with Facebook and Instagram. I think they think because everybody sees Facebook and Instagram, they think that's what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
But at the ad agency, I would say at least 90% of my clients spent the majority of their money not on Facebook and Instagram because it did not outperform the other channels. So I think people are just obsessing and not like diversifying.
Okay.
That's one thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that products work better on Google?
I think that...
Or brick and mortars?
I think that brick and mortars and products on average do exceptionally well on Google.
Yeah.
Whereas more online coaching does more on Facebook and Instagram. But I would still, like this past challenge that we did, one of the reasons that I truly believe it was the best was because we had Google, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, and I think one more. Okay. Because I saw people, like, can I give you an example?
Yeah, please.
Why do big companies pay millions of dollars for a Super Bowl commercial?
Because of all the different variety of people watching.
There's a lot of volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they, like Jeep, why would they run a Super Bowl ad? They don't expect someone to buy a car from that ad right now.
Right.
They do that so that they know that if they release the 2026 Jeep, people on their phone will be watching and they will search 2026 Jeep on their phone. So what Jeep does is they have their Google brand campaign with an unlimited budget to capture all of that search demand. Whereas Chrysler and all these other companies are trying to bid on people paying for that Jeep search to capture it themselves. But Jeep is like, let me own this. So I like to say you can create for demand, or you can create demand, or you can capture demand.
That's good.
So they created it so that they could capture it, and they had both.
Got it.
So I just feel like a lot of people, when they run ads, they want an immediate gratification versus seeing that if you wake up 6 months later and you were running ads on all these other places, all of a sudden it just feels like you're like super findable. So I think that people don't really see the value. Can you see
someone was retargeted like on Spotify? Can you see that in your data?
Yeah, so like I have 2 campaigns on Spotify right now. We have a prospecting campaign and we have a retargeting campaign. We can see the conversions that someone takes if they click the Spotify ad to convert. But we can also see all the people that are searching for our name. Like the way that I had, I don't know, probably 20 challenge ticket sales from Google for people searching, is ads with Ashley legit? Win with paid ads challenge.
Got it.
Like all of that demand
so
led
they'll
to
see
search.
It somewhere and then they'll search.
They see it or hear it because they might be at the gym.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all of a sudden our brand search demand because of all the other channels we're running is going up.
Yeah.
Because people are searching for it.
So good.
So it's just having it all there.
Oh my gosh, you know what I just realized?
What?
So, you know, Ashley and I just did an ad. She was my prop. And I talked about how a lot of times when you're in sales conversations, you speak from your belief of like what you do, what you want to say, what you enjoy talking about, not what someone else needs to hear. And the way I search people is on Instagram. Like that, I search on Instagram for Google. I search like Pilates places. I will search on Instagram. For our mastermind, we went to go do a Pilates class, and that, I don't know why that I go there. That's just where I go naturally.
Yeah.
And so that's how I operate. I'm like, yeah, we're going to be on Instagram.
Because that's the way
that you are. Because that's how I operate. That's how I think.
You know what this reminds me of?
So you got to meet people on their belief bridge. Yeah.
That's right. It's like the 5 love languages. Everybody gets loved differently.
Yeah.
Everybody searches differently.
Yeah, totally.
That's good.
So
it's good self-awareness.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See, I think in sales. I don't think in anything else. So that was a good crossover for me. I think you were about to say another one. What people misunderstand.
Let's see how it works together. The tracking was another one. So like the example that I give that most people when I'm training, they're like, oh.
Yeah.
In fact, not everyone, pretty much everyone got this wrong when I asked a room, and there were some very high level people in the room in the chat. And I said, hey, so if I saw your ad for your offer challenge, and that's how I found you. Say I saw an ad, and say a week later I saw another ad. And then let's say about 10 days later, you have a post, because I started following you on Instagram. You have a post, and it's about the Sell Your Offer Challenge. And I comment, and I register. Which ad gets the credit?
Oh, yeah.
And it's none of them.
Yeah, because it's organic. Yeah.
Because the attribution window for Facebook and Instagram is a 7-day click or a 1-day view. And so often people look and they're like, our organic is just killing it. And it's like, everybody is out to get the paid ads. And it's like, what if you were like, thank God?
So true.
Because it's like they want to blame everything on not the ads. And so I think it's a mistake to not look at the big picture and be like, whoa, a lot of this organic is probably because people found us, followed us, and then it just took a little bit of time. And so, of
Yeah.
course, the ad isn't getting the credit.
Yeah. Actually, I think you told me that.
Yeah. and you're like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just don't sit down to think about the attribution.
Yeah.
And they spend a lot of time, like especially the high level folks, because they do care about the data. So they're like, what's coming from these channels? And so like, I don't know, I think you were like having baby around this time.
I'm sure.
Max, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was when Alex Hormozy did his big book launch.
Yes.
Well, in his post book launch, he went live for all the people that bought certain things, and he showed channel after channel in the exact spend and the exact, I mean, he was like, here's our exact YouTube advertising budget. Here's the return. He did TikTok. He went on every single platform that he advertised. So it showed what he did, his return, and what he expected versus what he got. And I was just like, he used like a last touch attribution, the last thing someone clicked on. And because he did all of it, you could see how the big picture came together.
Wow.
I'm like, of course, the biggest launch ever, he used all these advertising channels. But he doesn't, I just really feel like I see him like not fighting for different things. They just want to say, how is it all working together? And I just feel like most people are like, no, how is this one thing working right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so good. My dad just came on my, just did an interview with me. And he was like, Macy, one of the things that you do is you focus on the micro, but that helps you understand the macro. Like I'll take a word and go all around the country to help understand the word and what it means and why it matters. And then I'll bring it macro of, the bigger picture. And so it's really like, that's how I think. I do think like that. Like, is this working? Did that ad work? Is that, but my next step is like bringing it back to macro.
I'm automatically the default.
You're macro first, then micro? Okay, wow. That's so wild.
That's very interesting. And now I feel like things we do makes more sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there something specific?
I feel like I'm having, not like little mini epiphany, but like I just don't get into the details. And so I'm like, hey, is the challenge working? Great.
Yeah.
The ads are all coming together.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even care which audience or which ad at the moment. I'm like, it's just all going to work. Like I just have this mentality, even if my prospecting cost per lead is high.
I just had a realization.
Oh my gosh, what?
So I'm a little bit like that with sales messages too. Like, so when people ask me like, Macy, what order does like the webinar go in, or what order is the channel? And my thought is like, listen, hit these beliefs, hit these resistances, break, like it doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's like, just make sure you help them believe this first and then go with your points.
They think that matters, but you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's almost like you have to go micro to ultimately get to a place where you're like, oh, I see the bigger picture, because you first had to go micro with ads to understand it.
I'm like trying to go back to even beginning to learn it. You have to start with the details.
You have to start with the details.
Because I've mastered the details.
Yeah, totally. You can see the bigger picture.
Which is, I think, what I do on the coaching. And they get so obsessed with the details, but I have to remember the details are at the beginning.
Yeah.
But now I love being here.
Right. And that's probably why you feel, and typically that's why, I don't like to sell lower ticket items, because that's where people need to start. And like the minutia, I call it ant farm things.
You do call it ant farm things.
And it's like, hi ho. And you're like, no, it's a bit, but you got to meet them where they, meet them where they are.
Yes.
So that makes sense. I think we just had an epiphany.
So I think what this means for everybody listening is that at the beginning of any skill is going to be the details.
Yeah, totally.
And people I think this is where people's resistance or frustration comes, is they want to get to the big picture, but they're frustrated that they're in the details. And like, you can't be frustrated in the details. The details are the way that you get to be able to be strategic.
Okay, I got a good one.
Okay.
What is something people blame ads for that's actually a different business problem?
Ooh. Okay, so there's this guy that just joined the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He has this whole book called Blind Blaming.
Ooh.
He did 50 million, worked with Russell, all this stuff. And he did this whole book called Blind Blaming, and is where people do blame. So I'll tell you exactly where people freaking blame the ads.
Tell me.
Their offer.
Okay.
I'm like, you dialing up your ads is like turning up the music on a bad song.
That's right.
It's not better. It's
Is it the
louder.
offer or their message?
Probably a mix of how they're messaging the offer.
Yeah.
So it's like people run ads and then they go somewhere and it's to a lead magnet, and the lead magnet's crap. The offer is crap, the lead magnet's crap, or how they're messaging it is terrible. And I'm like, you're wanting people to buy when they're confused.
What is something that people blame ads for that is actually a totally different business problem?
Yeah. So there's this guy that just joined my program. And he wrote this book called Blind Blaming.
Okay.
And it's where we habitually do not realize we're doing it, but we're blaming the wrong thing. Okay.
Is it for business specifically or just life?
You know, I haven't read the book yet.
Okay.
But he gave me the summary.
Okay.
Okay.
You tell me.
And so he was basically like, we blame what's not actually the problem and we don't realize it. And so people will blame the ads and say the ads are not working. This is not going well. When really they're sending people to either an offer that's not so greatly communicated or the messaging is off. And so the analogy I can give, if it's like you pull up to a house and the inside is remodeled and beautiful, but the curb appeal is terrible.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people, like even Brett, I told him this yesterday. I was like, you have all this value. You can help so many people, but the Instagram and the landing page was mess. It was just messy. And so people didn't trust it.
Yeah.
And so he's saying the ads aren't working, but he understood and we fixed everything.
Yeah.
But the common thing that I see is like the ads aren't working. And it's like the experience you're sending people to, people don't trust. Nobody has enough video testimonials, period, to really get someone. Everybody has text testimonials.
Wow.
And it's like everyone can take a screenshot or forge it. Everyone can say Bobby Sue said this, but I want to see them.
Wow.
And so there's just not enough validation. And so people don't trust it and they don't buy, but it's not the ad's fault. It's where they sent them to.
That's so good.
Yeah. I see it every day.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know you do. I know it is so like frustrating for you too, because like also here's my thought on this as well. Like everybody, and we talked about this, everybody is in a different stage of their business journey. Yeah. Okay. And sometimes they just need some time to get better. They just need some time to be able to get testimonials, to be so good, to help someone win so that they can have the testimonials. They need time to deliver their offer so that they know how to adjust it.
People don't want to hear that.
And they're like, but the ad. And it's like, listen, what if you just continue to run ads and continue to, go in a low budget and work the muscle and get the skill and also know that you're just getting better at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's why you've got to be a coach as well.
That's exactly right.
Not just an ads person. Yeah.
Every day it's those conversations.
Yeah.
It's like, what if you built your audience right now and tested the different messages, see what, like, that is one of the things is, yes, a lot of people can post organically and learn their messaging. If you really are like trying to speed things up, just have $10 a day on a couple ads and see which one are people actually responding to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what belief is probably in the way for people?
What?
That are kind of in a hurry. Do you notice them? They're in a hurry?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're in a hurry to be where someone else is who wasn't in a hurry.
Yeah. So 100%. They think it's going to be so much better there than it is where they are today. But you and I both know that it's still hard up here. Would you agree with that?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. It's super challenging. And so it's like, what if you could just be like, okay, it's still going to be hard no matter where I am. I'm just going to get used to developing one skill at a time.
Yeah.
Working one muscle at a time.
Yeah.
Practicing one belief at a time.
Yep.
That would really save some people.
If they were okay knowing I'm in the middle of it and that's exactly where I'm supposed to be,
Yeah,
if they could
100%.
have that mentality, yeah, they'd win.
Life would change forever.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about how ads change. So I need your hottest, best, sexiest, spiciest tip for paid ads in 2026 specifically.
I just tested this.
Oh my gosh.
So I did a new test.
What?
Brand new. Okay. So with my challenge ads, I was in the middle of running them and there was this day that I had and it was a $1,200 cost per someone signing up for the challenge.
Okay.
For everybody listening, challenge tickets range from $100 to $400. It was costing me $1,200 per person to sign just for a day or two.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, this is just a normal, my mental map was like, this is normal fluctuations. You're going to have highs and lows. But it was like a high. I'm like, $1,200 a person can't maintain.
Pretty
high.
Pretty steep.
Yeah. So I was like, what a perfect time to test something. So what I did was, and Marianne and I, my head paid ads coach, we like had this like powwow. I was like, what if we just test something and do a new thing? So I did a couple things. All right. So we took our top performing audiences, which were for us our lookalike. So for everybody who doesn't know, quick lookalike. Lookalike is where you take an audience list. So maybe it's your followers, maybe it's your buyers, or maybe it's the people that bought your most thing, or maybe it's the people that have the most profit in your business, or the repeat customers. Pick the highest, I call it the HVL, the highest value list. Take that and do a lookalike audience. So if you upload it into Facebook and Instagram, what it'll do is it'll match and say, what are the behaviors that are similar to the people on this list?
Yep.
So I did a lookalike audience, and then I paired it with my top interest audience. So interest is their behavior.
Okay.
And so I had a lookalike with top interest, okay?
Yeah.
And then what I normally do is tell the ad in the ad setup, I tell it to optimize for sales, like optimize towards maximize the number of conversions.
Okay.
I changed it this time, and I did maximize value of conversions. So instead of getting more people to buy, get the people who will pay the most, which I normally don't do. I'm like, any sale is great, any challenge.
Right.
But I was like, let me do that. And then I added a target.
Okay.
So I told, in the setup, I said, maximize the value, and here's the target return that I want to achieve.
Wow.
And I head-to-head tested that over just doing maximize conversions. So I tested maximize sales versus maximize value of sales with a target.
Got it.
And the target got a higher return on ad spend. And that is why I really feel like we had our best
quality.
We had our highest cost to acquire the customer, but we had our best total revenue because they paid more because they were higher value.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll do that next time?
I'll be turning that one back on. Like, I'm just going to turn it right back on.
Wow.
And then I might make some tweaks as the data comes through. But it was like, and here's the other thing. I have another tip. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So what we did was we used Claude AI, Claude Cowork, and I uploaded the list of every single person that purchased a challenge ticket. Then I uploaded this most recent list of every person that purchased any of the programs.
Okay.
And I said, marry the names of who it was that bought the ticket with who the person is. Marry them.
Okay.
Tell me when they bought their ticket and how many days in advance.
Okay.
So I can understand, should I have spent more even when the cost per to acquire was higher? Because the value of people who buy in advance versus last minute, it's like they're more prepared. They're happy to go ahead and buy.
Yeah.
And so that alone has helped me change how I'm going to spend for the next one, because I actually should have been spending a little bit more, because the people that buy in advance, they're so proactive. They already know they want to solve the problem.
That's right.
And so it was just really cool getting like some of the data and using AI to help me like say like what decision should I make by marrying it.
So good. That is ninja.
I know.
I love it.
I know. It's so cool.
Okay. Let's do one of the questions for like a little bit more of a beginner ad person.
Okay. Great.
What would you say? Okay, so we just talked about like what high level people misunderstand. Brand new ads people. What is a mistake that they make? Or even just beginner business owners.
Making changes to their ads every single day.
Okay.
It cannot learn.
Okay.
If you don't just let it breathe.
Yep.
People are choking the ad. It's like, you better perform right now or I'm going to freak out and I'm going to change this every day. Yep. And the algorithm is smart, but it's dumb. And what I mean by that is it will listen to the signals that you give it.
Okay.
So if you set it up to optimize towards the wrong thing, if you just kind of wing it and don't know what you're doing, it's optimizing towards the wrong audience and the wrong person, and you're going to get mad, you're going to change it every day, and then you'll pause your ads and say ads don't work. Don't fiddle with that thing. Set it up the right way and then leave it for a second.
Man, so good. Okay. What would you say to someone who is running ads, but like they're saying this to you, I'm running ads, but nothing's converting?
Yeah, so I think, okay, there's a couple reasons why it wouldn't be converting.
Yeah.
Reason number one is you're not spending enough for the thing you're selling.
Yep.
So it's a volume problem. It's like, okay, it's not converting. It's like, oh, you've been spending $3 a day and you sell something that's $4,000. Oh, that's why. It's like you simply don't have enough volume. So the 4 S's that I've come up with in my business are how we'll address these. So one is stop, one is start, one is scale, and one is sharpen.
Okay.
So I'm like, do we need to start something, do more of it, fix it, or just scale?
Yeah.
Start, stop, scale, sharpen. Okay. So first is you just need to scale it. You don't have enough volume. The second thing is it could be the actual ad setup.
Okay.
I had a lady that sells birthing classes. Her name is Trish. She has 400,000 followers. And she was like, my ads are not converting. I'm angry. And I said, did you follow all the steps right?
Yeah.
She had one button that controls whether you are suggesting versus requiring. And she had it off. And so I proved to her through her data, through the view charts, I said, oh, you're serving on average to 65-year-old men. She was like, why are they clicking? I'm like, because you're a hot tamale, Trish.
Oh, God.
Okay? Like, I don't know why they're clicking. She was like, but I'm so confused. And so we made that change. And then, like, women that give birth were starting to click on her ads and purchase. It was all good.
Wow.
But that was a setup issue.
Got it.
Okay? So there's either a volume issue, a setup issue, Or on the other side, if you're getting a lot of the right people to the page and they're not converting, it's an experience issue there. That's where it's like, let's fix your landing page. Let's fix your messaging. Let's fix something. Like I'll have people audit the clicks. I'll be like, how many times does someone have to click a button before they convert? And some people will be like, oh my God, I didn't realize it. That was 10 total clicks. I'm like, yeah, you need to shorten that. And so it's either the setup, the volume, or the experience that they're sending to is not good.
Got it.
And so I kind of have these different thresholds of when I like look at each one.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It gives people a frame because see, and that's the micro though.
It is. It's those little details.
That's micro. And when people feel frustrated, it's because they don't know what micro to look at.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I think we just discovered something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have rapid fire, right?
All right, let's rapid fire.
What's the best ad platform right now?
Depending on your business, I would say Google or Instagram.
Okay. Biggest myth about paid ads?
That it is expensive and you have to spend a lot to get started.
Okay. One metric people obsess over that doesn't matter.
Click-through rate.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Like, why? Is because one of my best performing ads has my lowest click-through rate. Because I'm on a private plane. Okay. And I'm like, are you a 7 or 8 figure entrepreneur? And it's like, of course the click-through rate's lower because there's literally less 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs. Right. So it's less, but it converts incredibly well. What KPIs do you look at every day? Every day. Okay. My eyes go straight. So I say that if you're not getting sales or conversions, then you can focus on front end metrics, which is the click-through rate, the cost per click, like you're looking at the front end, the view rate. But once you have back end data, you graduate. I don't care about what's going on the front end if they're converting on the back end. So I don't even look at any of that. I just go straight to leads, cost per lead, and return on ad spend. Okay. Return on ad spend. Yeah, ROAS. So if you have revenue passing through, it's return on ad spend. Yeah. Because perfect example with our challenges, there's a cost per lead to acquire a challenger, but it's like, but if my ROAS, if my cost per lead is higher, but it's getting the platinum people, right? So it's like you got to know that the thing that people make the mistake on is there's a difference between volume and efficiency. So it's like, are you getting a high volume of sales, but the cost per lead is terrible, or a low volume and the cost per lead's great? You just need to scale that one. So I think it's just people don't balance. They're like, oh, this one has 100 purchases. I'm like, yeah, but like this one has 7, but it's half the cost per lead. We need to spend more here. But they just see numbers and they see lot and they think good. Yeah. And so just see, this is so micro. You don't even realize how micro it is. And then that's such good perspective. But then it's like that's the things that they have to know to do it well. That's right. To even understand the macro. Yeah. Wow. Okay. What is the smallest? No. What one metric that matters more than people realize? More than they realize. I would say this is such a nitty gritty one, but when you look at a video ad's performance, seeing how long, like what their hook rate is at the beginning. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, what's the smallest ad budget someone should start with? Absolute minimum, $10 or $15 a day. Wow. Absolute minimum. Okay. It's just like you can spend $10,000, or let's say $1,000. You can spend $1,000 in a month, a week, a day, or an hour. It's really up to you. So I think sometimes people want to rush to spend. Yeah. But it's like, what if you just took the 2 weeks and said, what would I have spent during that 2 weeks? Yeah. And just spend that in a couple days and get the volume. Yeah, they're in a hurry. They're in a hurry. Yep. Okay, what's more important between targeting or creative? Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to lean more toward the creative right now. Okay. Why do you say that? Because your messaging can become your targeting. Yeah. Because with Andromeda, it'll match the people that are going to resonate with the words you say. Yep. So even if you messed up your targeting, if your messaging is hot, it'll likely find the right person. Would you agree, and I don't know what you'll say about this, but do you feel like your messaging is a sales message to the masses? I do. You do? I feel like because I can sell, all my ads are different objections. Yep. I'm selling confidently in it. Yep. I'm using analogies. Yep. I'm selling the whole time. Yeah. My best ads always have an analogy. Checks out. Every single time. Yeah, because the brain can recall it. That's exactly right. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Video or copy? You mean video or like, oh, okay. Okay. If I had to pick one. Yeah. Video. Yep. Words you say in a video or the video editing? Words you say. Okay. I would agree. Quality or quantity? Excuse me. Let me do that again. Quality or quantity in creatives? Quality. Okay. Intense sales periods or evergreen ads? Intense sales periods align with human behavior.
You know, isn't that the truth?
It is.
You want to talk more about that?
There's just we are motivated by a deadline or an RTB, a reason to buy.
Yeah.
When you can buy it anytime, you can buy it anytime. So why would you buy today?
Yep. I was thinking about I was actually thinking about Costa Rica. Court was asking, she was like, what's the story of how this came about? And I looked back to when you texted me about it. It was November 22nd, and I had just had Max. And so I was thinking about, oh man, that'll be such a good like runway to get my body back and like feel really good about myself. I don't know if I would have locked in as much if I didn't have that deadline of Costa Rica.
Wow.
You know?
Yes.
And so,
so good.
It's the same thing with sales environments though. It's like you have to give them a deadline. You have to create urgency.
I agree.
And I think people think urgency is gimmicky.
Totally.
But it's like, no, I'm helping you.
Correct.
I'm helping you focus.
I agree.
I'm helping you care about this.
Could not agree more.
Yeah.
And the reason people are like, don't launch, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting because they don't have like it refined enough yet.
Totally.
Like I told you, it was just easy for me. I'm like, this is easy now, and it's a launch, and I love it, and I could do it again.
Yeah. And also, I have to say this, because sales is so ingrained in your brain, you don't have to pull it out of a drawer every time you need to think about it. You just do it because it's a part of you.
It is a part of me.
And so I think people who say it's exhausting is because they have to pull out this totally different identity that they're not used to being.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I have to be this person. I'm not used to being being the salesperson. You're like, no, I'm always you never. Oh my! At our mastermind event, someone was like, do you ever not think about sales? I'm like, no. Literally every moment I'm looking around thinking, how can I prove my point with what's around me? And you are the exact same way, aren't you?
I am the exact same way.
Yeah.
And I think it's
because it's easier.
It is so easier. But the only way we're like that is because we went through
what we've been through.
all of that stuff that people don't want to do. You don't want to do it because you're not good at it.
That's
but if you want to get good at it, you got to be bad at it.
That's exactly right. So good. Okay. I think it's my last one. Ready?
Yes, I'm so ready.
Drive people to an opt-in or drive them to a sales environment?
Sales environment.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the reason I say that.
Yeah.
Most people are not good at creating an opt-in that is good enough to actually convert people. They get that quick dopamine hit that they got a lead, they're on their list, but if their actual flow is not good enough, it's not going to work. I have so many people that have lead magnets and like, I have 400 people on my lead magnet, but no one's buying. I'm like,
So
yeah, because it didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
I have Barbara, who we're going to Costa Rica with.
Whoop, whoop.
Freaking, I've never seen a actual lead magnet guide perform like hers does. Like 50% of the people that do her lead magnet immediately opt in to her free masterclass.
Wow.
And then the people that do the free masterclass do the next thing. But it actually is so good, it makes people want to take a next step.
What is it? Is it like a magazine type thing?
It's freaking bad to the bone. It is so good. It's a like whole guide on all these things you can write off on your taxes and how and examples.
Is it long or is it just beautiful?
It's long and beautiful and extremely helpful.
Okay.
But like, yes, it's so good.
Very cool. Good to know. Okay.
And she does a different one each quarter. So every quarter they obsess over a new one that relates to the content of the different masterclass, because she does a different masterclass each quarter. So
she has a different masterclass each quarter?
Different, yeah. She has a different lead magnet that leads to a different masterclass that sells to a different course.
Wow.
That always sells the tech strategy.
Yeah.
But it's different. And so she has quarterly focuses, and so it's new stuff, and it's just really cool.
Now, does her stuff rotate in terms of, is it just different types of content, or is it relevant in terms of the time?
No, it's about like, she does write off your life.
Yeah.
She does write off your real estate. So she has these different like angles that she comes in at.
Got it.
It's cool.
Does she recycle those?
Mm-hmm.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
You know, when I worked in ministry, we had 3-year cycles. So it was like every year. So every month was a different theme for 3 years, and then you just cycled it over again. Honestly, we should think about that in business.
Totally.
Like have, 3 times 4 is 12 master classes.
Yeah.
It's like every quarter for 3 years, we just recycle them.
Yeah.
That is a good idea.
It is a good idea.
We should do that.
I love that. Everyone should do that. That's so smart.
You guys are welcome.
Make it easy.
Yeah. So good.
It can be hard, and the hard helps you make it easy.
Yeah. Don't get bored with it. Get paid with it, baby.
That's right.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Ashley, you were such a winner. Thank you for sharing some good stuff. We will put all of her information below. Where can they find you? What do you want to send them to?
You made the Instagram handle, so we'll go with Ads with Ashley.
That's right.
And then we have the Win with Paid Ads Challenge.
So good. Thank you, Ashley.
You're amazing.
So good.